Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thorough Newspaper Analysis, which is brought to you by LawSikho. So, these are the articles that we will be discussing today, and all the three are from the Hindu. These are the two articles, the many lessons from COVID-19 and women at the heart of recovery. So, we have clubbed them together since the content is very relative to each other. Basically, it talks about the new system that we should be following once or meanwhile we are trying to combat COVID-19, and what should be the priority areas in a society that we need to focus a lot upon. And secondly, the article we have the magic of myth making, which is again from the Hindu, and this talks about the as we have already discussed about the Tanishq advertisement, which was put down later by Tanishq, and how people are basically intolerant towards tolerance, which is very miraculous to see. But we will be discussing as to what impact do advertisements really have on our society. And finally, we have the news and flash column where we'll be discussing these small and news crisp articles, crisp news articles that are more important for a prelims exam. And maybe my voice is very grainy today. Please bear with it as I'm not really feeling very well. But I hope that it doesn't really cause much of inconvenience to you all. So before that, let's have the LawSikho look at the LawSikho courses that we have for you. So we have the lot of the courses. So if you're also preparing for the judicial services exam, you can definitely have a look at this course and you can enroll yourself as well. The link is there in the description box, and from the landing page of this course, you can download free study material as well, which will be really helpful for your preparation. Then we are also very good, we have very other good courses as well, like for CLAT, All India Bar Exams, SEBI, etc. You can have a look at them too. Now let's see that what is the multiple choice question for the day. Which of the following is world's longest traveling raptor's bird? First, Amur falcons. Second, golden eagle. Third, great grey owl. Or fourth, king vulture. You can write down your answer in the comment section below if you know the right one. So here is the descriptive question for you all. How COVID-19 pandemic has put Indian women at a greater disadvantage. Discuss. So almost a similar topic we have already discussed like almost a month or two back when we discussed that the women are specifically more vulnerable in this time of COVID-19, and you have to jot down as to why and how this pandemic has actually hit them even worse. With this, let's start with our first article, as in the collaboration of the two articles, which talks about the lessons learned from COVID-19. Basically, the recovery phase is offering India three golden opportunities. Now, since many researchers and other stakeholders are claiming that India has moved away now from the peak of COVID-19 cases, and now we will be seeing a decline of the COVID-19 cases. In a way, we are just moving towards the recovery phase. So, in such a scenario, there are three golden opportunities that we might have in our hands. Firstly, address long-standing gender equality issues. Since we know when we talk about gender parity, then India does not really fare very well in gender parity or gender equality, and even countries like Bangladesh that actually were not so competent to India like a few years ago. But if we talk about the gender equality, Bangladesh is way ahead than India. So there is a huge issue of gender equality that we are facing. Secondly, build climate resilience for the most vulnerable. Obviously, combating climate change is the need of the hour, and now when we actually have the opportunity to rejuvenate or to reinvent our technologies, our working system, entire social fabric as well. So this is a really golden time to think about the technologies and the steps that can actually help us fight or combat the problem of climate change and make us more climate resilient. And finally, investing in public health and primary health care. Now, this is perhaps the most debated issue since COVID-19 has hit India or any other country for that matter, because it is the resilience or the strength of your public health system that actually, in a very critical manner, decided as to how that country has been performing in the times of COVID-19. The countries, though there have been some adverse examples as well, wherein the countries, even with the best healthcare systems, did not perform very well. Now, because obviously administration is also very important, but still, if there is any country, any place that is better off with public health or primary healthcare systems, they are in a better position to tackle pandemics like the COVID-19. And that is why, India also, though we were like not very bad at a healthcare system or primary healthcare, but still it is our opportunity to make this healthcare or health reach to or to every person or every individual, even to the remotest areas of the country. Now, here about addressing the gender equality issues, the issues specifically here are, firstly, rising rates of reported domestic violence. This is something which is very sad to acknowledge, but that is the truth. That since the time of lockdown, because we were all staying in our homes due to the lockdown, so the cases for domestic violence against the women have they have risen rapidly, and that too one third of those cases have completely increased, and only 1% sought help from police, because this is already such a stressful situation. And obviously there are many a times cases which are not even reported towards the police, and even this has happened for this time as well. So the domestic violence has increased. Then expected 60% more maternal deaths. This is also something that we had already discussed, if you remember, that because the healthcare system was focusing so much onto the treatment of COVID-19, that the other morbidities or other diseases that the people were going through, or if we talk about specific the women, those women who were pregnant and had their deliveries or any kind of complications in and around this time of COVID-19, many a times they were not even given the basic facilities of hospitalization or even ambulance services, which actually led to death of a lot of pregnant women. So this is also something that we need to pay attention towards. Next, more women than men work in informal economy. So income fell by 60% in March 2020. And this is something very important to know, that more women had been working in the informal economy, like small vendors, or like selling vegetables, or those things which are not actually a part of the formal economic setup, and they were also very badly disturbed and affected due to the COVID-19. Then female labor force participation has also declined according to the India Voluntary National Review 2020, and number of women and girls in extreme poverty are expected to increase. This number is expected to increase to 100 million, which will actually put us years behind. So we have already been striving and working very hard to make women and men equal in a society, and providing all kinds of opportunities to the female members of our society. But if this happens, that due to this COVID-19 and the stress that it has given on the society, 100 million, approximately 100 million of women and girls would move to extreme poverty. This would be something very heartbreaking and should definitely be stopped. Then the steps that we need to take in this regard are family planning, improved access to contraceptive services, and safe abortions. This is something really really important, because when we talk about the health, then also family planning and the availability of contraceptive services and safe abortions, they come very handy and very important as well, since they have at least now a choice. Earlier, due to lack of education or due to lack of these contraceptive services, very women at very young age tend to get pregnant, and due to which the health of the women, as in the mother as well as the child, gets deteriorated. So this should be stopped. And next, equal participation of women should take place in the workforce, as according to the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund. If we bring in women as the equal participants in the workforce, it would increase India's GDP by 27%, which is a huge jump. So we should be paying attention towards this as well. Now, next, the issue that we need to address is building climate resilience. Causes and effects of climate change, let's understand. Stressed agriculture and food insecurity, like we have discussed this several times now. Unplanned urban growth and thinning of the forest covers, rising temperatures, and shrinking water resources. And to curb these problems, the steps that we should be taking are, first, investing in green jobs. Now, jobs, basically, these could be any jobs. Like a very good example in this article was given, wherein initiatives are being taken to train women specifically as the solar technicians, like when we have these solar panels or solar gadgets in our homes. So definitely they need some repair, or some kinds of jobs need to be done with them every now and then. So they were specifically training the women so that they can address these problems that actually help in the climate resilience as well. So through this initiative, two of the very important issues like the gender equality and the second one of climate resilience were very nicely solved. Then create the right financial incentives, obviously, because if you want to work in a direction that is much needed, so it should also be well incentivized, as in the remuneration or the return that you're getting should be something that encourages you to involve yourself more into such jobs. Fostering sustainable public private partnerships, because obviously they are the need of the hour, and enable women entrepreneurs to access markets, training and mentoring. Now, these are the initiatives that have been taken, like Disha. Disha is an initiative that has been taken by the United Nations Development Program, along with the IKEA. This initiative is there. So this also is doing a lot into this direction. And there is an initiative by Self-Employed Women's Association in Electronic Sector Skills Council of India. Now, these are the things which you can definitely quote. You can directly quote these initiatives in your answers, wherein they will totally substantiate your point and definitely give you those brownie points which we are all looking for. Then finally, investing in the public health and primary health care. Issues are that the over 70% countries reported partial complete disruption of immunization services, and then out-of-pocket payments caused about 100 million to fall into poverty per year. Then 800 million globally spend more than 10% of their household budget on healthcare. And that is why we need to ensure that the healthcare services are not only easily available, but they're also affordable to every person in the society. The steps that we need to take are move towards digital technology, like we know as the telemedicine, wherein the medicines, even the counseling of doctors are available through online sessions, and the medicines are also delivered directly to your home. So this is something that we should do, and specifically if you're practicing physical distancing or social distancing, so this is something really that can come handy. Train and empower the frontline healthcare workers through platforms like Echo, which are dealing with the same thing, and then invest in strong institutional mechanisms and capacities in regulatory research and public health bodies. Investment in human resources, obviously, like educating them better, providing them with better opportunities, and giving them better or imparting them better skills for their future, so that they move towards an educated future where they know the right things to do for their health and everything, and so they can contribute better in this regard. And integrate social protection systems, food systems, and health systems impact on nutrition. So I guess just yesterday or day before yesterday, we discussed about the nutrition of fighting malnutrition, which is very, very important, because if you're already malnourished, you definitely are more vulnerable towards getting any disease or falling ill and stuff like that. So in that scenario, it is important that we pay a lot of attention on the nutrition of every individual, every citizen of the country, so that we're already very strong and immune, and so that such diseases don't really have much of an impact on us. With this, let's discuss the second article for the day, which talks about advertisement and the cultural reinvention. Basically, the author in this article is trying to tell that advertisements are not just some information about the product that you might or might not use, or some services or something like that. Rather, advertisements are those platforms, or it is that platform that actually caters to the cultural reinvention, and even it has the capacity of bringing in great social changes that we are really looking forward to. And when this article has been related to the Tanishq ad, which we have already discussed, wherein a Muslim mother-in-law was celebrating a Hindu daughter-in-law's pregnancy with Hindu rituals. So this was something that showed so much of cohabitation, love, concern, and tolerance. But it was really a surprise that people in India are not, worrying about the intolerance that is prevailing. Rather, something that is depicting tolerance is not, they're not able to digest this. So this is really harmful, and this is really impacting badly on our social fabric and also the cultural reinvention. And previous instances of the similar thing have also been showed, that self-imposed exile by the very famous painter Imam Hussain and blacklisting of Taslima Nasreen. So these are all related to these, things only. So the role played by advertisement. Now let's see what has been the important, crucial role that advertisements have played. So since the 20th century, they have shaped the aspirations and desires of entire societies. Most characteristics and remunerative form of American literature, as according to Daniel Boorstin, who was a social historian, and it has been ranked among the greatest art forms, and also it has been considered to be as a supreme myth maker, like closest to the ancient myths. Basically, this article says that the advertisements are way too beyond just information about that particular product or service. For example, there was an advertisement, a very good example in this article has been given of the advertisement that you might be able to see in here, where it was an ad of Surf Excel, where there was this festival of Holi going on, and a Hindu girl actually saves or protects a Muslim boy from being colored with the holy colors, since he was going to offer namaz in some masjid or somewhere wherever he was going. So that was something also which showed so much of love and the tolerance amongst the people. And these ads not only just are promoting the Surf Excel, that it can really wash off the stains of colors and so on and so forth, rather it also signifies the idea of a society that we really want to live in, at least the majority wants to live in, because obviously such fanatic people will be there in each and every society. So it defines the social constructs like modernity or success, and it constantly is molding and reflecting the society. Now, many a times you must have seen advertisements wherein the men are doing the house chores or they're helping their wives. So this is something which is, obviously it's not very prevalent in our society, unfortunately, but still it is trying to give a message. It tries to convey that this is not something that is to be looked down towards, because this is something that a very good and modern society ought to be. So this is how they actually frame our social aspirations. And then they also try to create many a times desirable myths, like less than 3% of marriages in India are actually interreligious. So if you like get onto the ground reality, so many a times the things that are shown are something way too utopian, or way too ideal. But obviously we should strive towards moving towards those things. But still, if we talk about interreligion marriage itself, so only 3% of marriages in India are interreligious. And by depicting interreligious marriages, it creates a desirable myth, not of a society where such marriages are norm, but one that it accepts when it happens. So obviously it does not say that you should go and marry into with some other religion or something. No, it's definitely your own personal choice. But still, if one has taken this decision, then the society should be tolerant enough to take in such decisions. That the myths reflect both who we are and who we want to be. So this is something, not something exactly what we are, but something that we want to be. We want to be a tolerant society, we want to be a happy, egalitarian and equal society. So these are the all things that are depicted by the advertisements. And a very good example has been given, wherein a few years ago, like in 2015, Mintra, the very famous the clothing online clothing store, it had an advertisement which featured a lesbian couple. So if we talk about the ground reality, it is like barely that people are very tolerant towards homosexuality or something. But in this ad, it actually showed that we should be ones who are tolerant towards homosexuality. And the reason is, as society gets more secularized and modernized, it seeks moral markers from places other than religion. With this, let's see what do we have for news in flash. So we have the Amur Falcon. Irang, the satellite radio tagged Amur Falcon. So 5 of them were fitted by Wildlife Institute of India. So it has now actually arrived in Manipur's Tamenglong district, crossing 29,000 kilometers from its breeding ground in China. So about Amur Falcon, it is the longest route migratory bird. So this is important to know that this is a migratory bird from Siberia, protected under the Wildlife Protection Act as well. So roost annually, the roosting takes place annually in Nagaland's Vokha. And also, but a huge alarming thing is that they are also hunted a lot for their meat, etc. and in the Longlang districts of this area. So the name of Amur Falcon needs to be kept in mind. So this was all for today. We hope it was a good and informative session for you all. Thank you so much for staying tuned with LawSikho.